This is Ricky the Hitman Hatton, and you're watching Lights Out.
This is Lights Out. I'm Faisal Khan, and I'm delighted to be joined by Mr. Frank Warren. Frank, how are you doing?
I'm good, my son. How are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you for asking. How's the countdown to Christmas coming along?
The countdown to Christmas is great. We've got the fight before Christmas on the 21st at the Copper Box, featuring Daniel Dubois against Fujimoto, so we're all looking forward to that one.
You know what, Frank? Following the career of Daniel Dubois, I've never seen someone more confident of knocking him out than this guy, Kyoto Fujimoto.
Well, you know, I'm glad he's confident. That shows he's coming to fight, and I think he will come to fight. He's been a fighting man since he was very, very young. He was an MMA fighter, I think, kickboxer, and he was quite a upsold world champion as that. And he's 21-1 as a fighter. The one loss he had was 8 years ago. He can punch. He's got knockouts on his record. It's going to be I'm sure he's got everything to gain and nothing to lose.
What does a win do for Daniel Dubois on Saturday night? Does it put him in contentions for fights such as a Joseph Parker, a Derek Chisora, maybe even Alexander Povetkin?
Well, it improves his world ranking. It gets him a world ranking in the WBA, and the WBO also ranked now Fujimoto, so it just pushes him up the rankings. All the heavyweights are fighting each other at the moment. Anthony Joshua had got his titles back a couple of weeks ago. He's now got 2 mandatory, so he's tied up. And you've got Tyson fighting against Deontay Wilder in February, and again, I'm sure they'll have another fight in the summer. So all those, by the time these guys sort out who's going to be there, the number one, our man, if he wins and has a good 2020 and does all the things I hope and believe he can do, he'll be in the number 1 position and be a mandatory for one of them.
And of course, Liam Williams takes on Alantez Fox. It's a tough fight for Liam because Alantez comes with a lot of experience, but a win for Liam puts him in world title contentions as well.
You're absolutely right. I mean, first of all, he's 6'4". He's a southpaw, so you know Liam's got to be at his best. He just walked through there just now, and he's looking good, and he's very, very confident. But it's going to be a tough one for him. But we expect him to. I expect him in a tough fight. I'm hoping he'll come through.
And of course, you know, the guy that Liam will face if he wins that fight is WBO middleweight champion Demetrius Andrade. He's scheduled to fight in January. So when can we see that fight with Liam and Demetrius, if Liam obviously comes through on Saturday night?
Sometime in May, I would think. You know, I think the winners of the respective fights will be ordered to fight in May.
Frank, news broke to us on the Sunday afternoon that Tyson Fury and Ben Davison have, parted ways with each other. What's the reason behind that, if you don't mind me asking?
Well, that's between them two, and the bottom line is they've split amicably, and Tyson's now got a new trainer, and they remain friends, and hopefully, who knows, they may work together in the future.
Sugar Hill Stewart is the man to take over Tyson's training. He's going to be looking after him now. What will Sugar Hill Stewart do differently with Tyson that Ben usually did? I
don't know. I mean, Tyson's worked with him before when he's Manuel Stewart's nephew, when he was over at the Kronk Gym when Manny was alive. I think he done some stuff with Sugar Hill, and I think Lennox Lewis. Someone was saying Lennox Lewis said that he's quite a good trainer. So that's Tyson's decision. That's where he's at, and. I don't think Tyson's going to teach. No one's going to teach Tyson Fury how to box. He's naturally got that, and at his age, you're not going to. I don't believe there's a lot more you can teach him. It's keeping him, getting the tactics right and so forth for the fight. So, that's what he's got to work on. The fact that him and Ben was such a successful partnership for his comeback. It's going to be a change of scenery for Tyson, but he feels comfortable with it, and at the end of the day he's got the guy getting in the ring, so that's how it is.
When you look back on the first fight between Wilder and Fury, did you see enough to make you think that Tyson is more than capable of not only beating Deontay on points but also knocking Deontay Wilder out?
Well, he did beat him. He was robbed. And what did I see of the fight? Well, that fight, Tyson, by the time he had that fight in the space of 6 months, his first fight, when he had them two, might not even been 6 months.
He came back in.
Yeah, so 6 months, he lost 11 stone in that short period of time. So he trained was training to make the weight. Now he has been on, in a good weight and physically really good and mentally for the last, since he fought Deontay Wilder, which was a year ago. So he's been in a good place, and he now will be training for a fight rather than training to lose the weight. And what did I see in the fight? Can Deontay change his style? I don't think he can. I think his style is what it is. One thing he is the most dangerous and biggest punching heavyweight in the last 25 years. You've got to be on your game every second of every round. We see him even recently against Ortiz.
Yeah.
He was behind, but when he puts the shots together, he can end fights. Well, he did that with Tyson. Tyson got up, and by the end of the round, Tyson was back on top of him and
almost took him out.
He did, and so I think this time round you're going to see Tyson much better than he was in the first fight.
Anthony Joshua yesterday on Sky Sports claimed that he's more than happy to go and spar with Tyson Fury, and he also reckons that a fight with Tyson Fury is a lot more easier to be made than the one with Deontay Wilder. Frank, what's got to happen for Tyson Fury versus Anthony Joshua to happen? Because for me personally, it's the biggest fight in the heavyweight division.
Well, first of all, what's he want to be sparring for? They want to see the fight. We've been trying to make that fight last year. Who wants to sparring behind closed doors? That's not what the public want to see. It's all bullshit. That's not going to happen. And as for the fight, we tried to make the fight. As it is now, Tyson is obligated to fight an undefeated heavyweight. The guy, biggest puncher out there, he's got a rematch for him. So the two best heavyweights in the world are fighting each other. That's what's happening, and hopefully by the end of the year, next year, or sometime in the autumn, maybe we can get that on. It's not a problem at our end. We tried to make it, as you know, on many occasions. We went out there and made it very public. It's very easy to make the fight. It was a 50-50 split, but they didn't want to do that.
Just get your thoughts on his performance against Andy Ruiz Jr.
He done everything that he had to do. He came in lighter than he's come in for a long time. He fought on the back foot. He fought a very safety first fight, and it was mission accomplished. He got his belts back. Ruiz was a disgrace. Fat, overweight. He's not like he's a well-conditioned fighter anyway.
Did you say it was disrespectful to former world champs of the past the way he come in?
It's disrespectful to himself and to the fans, and people. Some people may have bought tickets to see a guy who showed more respect for the heavyweight title. He won it. The title and won it in good style, took it at 5 weeks' notice, and you expect him having 3 or 4 months' notice to train for a fight. He'd come in at least no heavier than he did last time round, but he came and on his own admission, he was eating and boozing and skipping training. So, he made Anthony Joshua's job even easier for him.
Obviously moving away now, Josh Warrington, successful title defence, I believe it was a couple of months ago in Leeds. What's next for Josh Warrington? What's the chances of these big unifications clashes happening in next year?
We're looking to try and do him and Shakur Stevenson in Leeds.
It's a big fight, massive.
It's a massive fight. It's a great fight, and that's one of the ones. We looked at the other ones. That's one of the ones we're talking about. But as I say, he wants a unification. There's that option. There's Zoo. And obviously there's Gary Russell Jr., but he will have a unification fight in Leeds. That's my job to deliver it for him. That's what he wants.
I've read a few rumours on Instagram and of course Twitter that Anthony Yard's interested in the fight with Canelo Alvarez. I read something else that you're looking to put Anthony in with someone sometime the beginning of next year. What's next for Anthony Yard?
Well, I'm meeting Funny. I met with him a few weeks ago. I'm meeting Tundi tomorrow, and we're going to nail down what the plan is. Alvarez has vacated the title now, as you know, so that title's vacant. We want to get Anthony in a position, get a comeback fight, and get him in a position where he can fight again for the world title. He's shown the world he deserves to be there. He was 10 seconds away from becoming world champion. I think he got his tactics wrong and left it a little bit late. He could have, I think, if he had done what he did in the 8th round, I think he would have definitely have done it. But it was just wasn't to be his night. But it showed that he deserves to be in that company.
Final question, Frank. I'm going to move you away from the boxing scene. I know you're a massive Arsenal fan. What do you make of the current situation and the rumours that Mikel Arteta's set to be the new manager of Arsenal?
Well, I think the problem. I think Arsenal are terrible. I think the club, and it emanates from the top. I think the owners are bad owners. I don't think they're football people. They don't seem to understand what we as fans want. When they built that stadium, which 10 years ago was in that. We've been in 10 years ago. They built that stadium. That was supposed to make us compete with all the top clubs. We was a top club when we was at Highbury. We moved there and we listened to all the stuff about, they need sensible financial footing, etc. There's not been a great investment in the team and in the club. I think in Wenger's years the team declined. Emery wasn't the man for the job. They've got some players there who are leaderless. There's a couple of good players there. There's a couple of players who are just their heart's not in it. It's just a total joke. I've never seen such a poor team. This team that I'm watching now is the worst team I've seen. I've been going now since 1959.
What are the chances of Frank Warren perhaps maybe taking over Arsenal Football Club or even putting a cheeky bid in to buy the club?
I wish I had the money to do it. I mean, it needs sorting out. There's a real director there. There's a real football man, Ken Fryer, who I've got the utmost respect for. But these other guys, I don't know what their background is in football. I don't know if they know anything about football. Up to now, what I'm watching, they don't seem they do. The club is rudderless, leaderless. When you look at Spurs, they built and they're our enemies, our arch rivals.
They might be going places under.
Well, you got to look at that. They built a stadium. I think they built a stadium like Arsenal built a stadium. They played at that stadium for 3/4 of the season. They never had no money, or they didn't spend any money on transfers, but they managed to qualify for Europe. They did that, which we didn't do, and we've been in our stadium for 10 years, which is supposed to put us on this great financial footing. They get rid of their manager, Pochettino, got rid of him, but before they get rid of him, they got another one in place, in another proven manager in Mourinho. What do? We get rid of Emery, get rid of all his team, and you put Freddie Ljungberg in there, throw him in a deep end. He's never been a manager. Throw him in a deep end without a coaching staff. Mm-hmm. What brains trust is doing this?
Does this kind of like go to show that the Arsenal board are more or less interested in making money than rather bringing success to the club?
They're losing money because it's a decline. They may be lucky to, they may not, if they get knocked out of UEFA, they'll be lucky to qualify for Europa. They're about the top four. And that's been their bar level, hasn't it, for God knows how many years. Let's finish in the top floor, which is, for me, is not what it's all about. It should be about let's win the Premiership. And that's reflected now that you go there and there's a lot of empty seats. People are not going. They might have bought their season tickets, but they're not going. And are they going to renew them? We need to see something happen there dramatically. And I don't know if Arteta's is the answer. He may be, he may not. But one thing I am disappointed with, they've not gone out and done what a club of their ilk should have done, which is go and buy you're talking about buying players, go and buy a top manager. They haven't done that. And what on earth they bought Pepe for 72 million, when that was never our problem. Our problem is our defence. And the midfield's not too clever. That's where they should have been spending money. So the whole thing for me is poor. When we're struggling with, no disrespect to Norwich, they played their heart out. When you're playing teams like Norwich and you're struggling, I mean, even West Ham, up until we had that little spurt, we were being Southampton. You can name all these clubs. They're all. No one's frightened of playing Arsenal anymore. And what an abysmal performance it was against Man City.
Frank, I have to ask you this question. What is your your thoughts on fan TVs, like, for example, AFTV? What's your thoughts on it? Because a lot of people, in the public seem to think that fan TV causes a bad vibe around the club.
Well, look, it's up to, people are not stupid. At the end of the day, people have their watch something and they can form their own opinions. It's sometimes insulting to people saying that you can't let these, let these people have their say. I mean, I know the guy who runs Robbie. I know him who runs it. So he's doing what he's doing and he's getting people to vent their spleen. At the end of the day, what everyone's got to think about is that the fans pay their money, like they do in boxing, and they're entitled to their opinions. Because at the end of the day, without the fans, none of these people have any jobs. So you got to respect them for that.
Promise you it's the final question now. Just want to give you a quick fire question. Final question. Deontay Wilder versus Mike Tyson. Both in their prime, who wins?
Mike Tyson.
By knockout or points?
It'd stop him.
Frank Warren, Merry Christmas to you. Good luck for Saturday night. Thank you very much for your time.
All the best.